Hey everybody, Mike Lowe here, simsportsgaming.com, and we are starting episode 3 of our head coach franchise groupthink stream, I guess is the best way to explain it. We did a really short, just kind of a quick impromptu episode 2 last night, but we're going to jump right back in and I'll give you a quick update and we'll just kind of chat about where we're at with the off season. First, I was super tired last night with the episode 2. I was really excited to do it, and we kind of got into it and just did about an hour. So I apologize if it was a little bit slow. We did get through all the senior combine scouting, and now we're at the point where we're actually doing, the senior bowl scouting. Now we're at the combine scouting, so we'll be able to look at players that are more than just the seniors who are playing in the senior bowl. So we'll have a much wider variety of players coming up here in the combine workouts, as you can see there on the clipboard. So a little bit about this Raiders franchise. We looked a lot closer kind of just at the actual depth we have in this team. And I think in a nutshell, we could probably say that the Raiders have a really good defense. I think we have some defense. We maybe have a few issues where we need to maybe work on our depth. We have some contracts that are coming up. So, maybe we look to grab a defensive end project, maybe an outside linebacker project. But we have pretty good defenders. Depth at defensive tackle we're good at. So we're in a pretty good place we're in a really good place with where this team's at, I think, on the defense. There are some holes on the offense, and I think most noticeably the offensive line, which is actually going to be the first combine workout. I would say maybe receiver. We have some guys with some good potential. We also have an owner goal to get a wide receiver who's at least an 85, as well as a right guard who's an 85. We of course have that project quarterback, and I think that's maybe being a little unfair to Jamarcus Russell. He's pretty solid in this game, it seems like. But he's in his second year, had a kind of a rough rookie year, but certainly seems like somebody we can work with. And again, running back, something we would like to upgrade, but I don't really know if it's completely necessary. But I think offensive line is really the biggest hole. We have a nice right tackle outside, and again, probably like a nice project left tackle. But our interior linemen leave a lot to be desired, and we could definitely probably use a much better left tackle. So, some of the players we looked at yesterday, and again, this was only seniors, right? So we didn't get to see a ton, but like there was one probably senior that stood out, I think, in all of the scouting we did. It was Chris Williams. He's a left tackle. We don't know a ton about him. We still don't even know, or we do know his size now. So this is kind of nice. We do get that information. So 6'6", 315, really nice size for a left tackle. 22 years old. He's got really great learning, pass block footwork, which is nice. He's got nice size, which is something that this Raiders team is looking for in our team philosophy chart. So again, we get to actually pick what kind of players that fit our mold. And again, size is kind of what we're looking for in just about all of our offensive linemen, just kind of big dudes who are just going to move people around. Doesn't really have a mean streak, doesn't have strength, but again, I would probably look for more of those things in an interior lineman. With the left tackle, again, more about technique, and he's got really nice intangibles. So he seems to fit that. Here's the scouting from the Senior Bowl. We do get a few ratings. Pass block of 84 maybe not seem that high, but if you saw the stream episode 2, I mean, he would be the best pass blocker by a wide margin on our team at 84. So he would be a huge upgrade. He can also run block, which is going to be nice in that kind of the option read plays we want to do where you need to really hold that edge with blocking there. And he's got good impact blocking, nice awareness. He's a good player. I really like him. Now, we have the 4th overall pick in this draft. We don't pick again until the 4th round after that. So is this a guy we're going to pick at number 4 overall? I don't know. I think it would be a bit of a stretch. But again, he's a nice player we like. So if we do look to trade down, this could be a guy we could probably still get around. I don't know. I'm totally estimating here, but pick 12 or something like that. He would probably still be available. Again, kind of like the double digits when those picks start coming up. So there were some other interesting sleeper players that we did see that looked really interesting and some good projects. So again, check out episode 2 if you'd like to see more about that. Real quick, just to kind of talk about the stream schedule. Again, we're continuing with episode 3 here. Tomorrow I'll be doing MLB The Show Tigers franchise stream. Last night I put out a quick video just kind of showing the 1-month recap of that. So just a quick plug for that stream, because I know some people were looking for that. But I'm on May 1st in that franchise. and we kind of dug through some of the season stats and so on and how things are looking with the slider set. So again, version 1.4 is 1.5 is the latest slider set as of the recording for this stream here. So, but back into NFL head coach. I love this game. Super, super excited about it. It's got me wanting to go back and even play NCAA football 14 again. So I think I want to get a stream going with kind of like a new dynasty or something like that with that game. So really excited. Of course, there's the real NFL draft that's going on now, kind of the wrapping up round 4 as we record this here. So yeah, lots to talk about. So again, share your chatter with me. I would love input from the community, even if it's kind of after the stream. Go ahead and just post a comment there, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's going to be the best way as we try to rebuild our subscription base here, switching over to a new YouTube channel. So, but let's look at combine workout. So we know lineman's going to be a big need. Just about
Hey, Coach,
everywhere.
here are the scouts' notes from today's combine drills.
Now, these are the combine workouts, right? So there's some things you hear we look at. I mean, truthfully, I think the most important thing is we get players' size, and that's really nice to see. I don't really care about a lineman's 40 time. I don't really care about any of these stats, honestly, for a lineman. Maybe there's some, again, we try to avoid all spoilers on this. And I know some people kind of break down games, and whether it's Madden or front office football, I mean, there's ways you can kind of dissect the entire draft. But, I think overall, this isn't a huge concern for me. I don't really care how far they jump, even though I'm sure it shows a lot about their leg strength and so on. So I guess we could look at it maybe a few things, like obviously some of the strength items, but again, this doesn't really tell you much about technique. So looking at some guys who bench pressed, I mean, there's quite a few guys who bench pressed over 30, but maybe let's look at there's quite a few. So, and this is all offensive linemen, but if we look here, we can see if there's any names that we remember from kind of the top of the list for these positions. Interesting. There's really, okay, Jake Long. So of course Jake Long, oops. Oh, that's weird. You can't actually see their, you can't see their player profile, so it seems. Yeah, you can't here. But Jake Long obviously is one of the going to be a top 5 pick, it would seem, in this draft, and he has a really nice bench reps. So, but again, for a left tackle, really looking for more of a technique thing. Broad jump, this will show us a lot about a player's, again, lower body strength. So if we look at guys who maybe had at least 130, again, none of the real, okay, Ryan Clady. So a couple guys there that we could take a closer look at. So again, vertical jump, don't really care. But I would say maybe Ryan Clady, and we could look at Jake Long. I don't know if Jake Long will be there. I mean, he's kind of rumored to be going number 1 here to the Dolphins, just like in real life. But we should have a little bit more information now about these guys. And since left tackle is definitely a spot we're taking a look at, here's Jake Long, right? So he gets a really nice run blocking grade. That's not exactly what we're looking for, but he's got a really nice size. Huge player. NFL comparison's excellent. Chris Samuels. He's not very fast, but again, he's got nice IQ. We don't know his intangibles yet because he wasn't in the Senior Bowl. And here's his combine. So very nice strength, but again, more of a run blocking strength. Nice acceleration. We just don't know a lot about him in regards to his pass blocking. So again, it's just, and he's 23, so he's kind of older for a prospect. Ryan Clady also had nice combine numbers, good size too. Jason Peters, another nice NFL comparison. So 6'6", 319. He's got really nice footwork, and he's got potential, but work ethic could be an issue there, and consistency. So that's interesting. He's got better pass blocking strengths. Maybe that's a key, letting us know he's a little bit more of a pass blocker. Nowhere near as strong as Jake Long. Significantly less there. But again, a little bit more athletic potentially with a little bit better acceleration. And it looks like we didn't get any of this durability characteristics, but we do have a durability rating for these guys. They're both 99, so that's good. They definitely aren't worried about any kind of injuries. So again, we can even take, so now Chris Williams, you can see he's a 79% scouted because now we have this information back on him. So 6'6", 315. His durability is also 99. We looked at him just a second ago, but he's who we have the most information on for sure. And it's probably still, if we're kind of thinking like safe picks, Chris Williams is definitely a fit for us as a guy I'm interested in taking. Interior lineman, maybe not as much. But again, we'll see all this as it gets closer to the draft. So you can see the clock there is ticking, 9 days away from free agency. We are going to be doing more combine results like this. We'll be getting these kind of popping up position by position. And just depending on the position, we'll look at certain information. I mean, of course, we will be looking at things for speed like running backs and receivers and some defensive players and so on. But it really just depends on the position. So again, I see the chat. I added the chat to the stream, so I hope you guys can see it and can interact with it. And hopefully the audio is working all well. I have some good rest finally. I got a little late to the stream. Today was a weird morning. My wife and I got one of those robot vacuums, and I was having the damnedest time trying to get it to connect to our Wi-Fi. It only wants to connect to a 2.4 gigahertz signal. Having all kinds of problems. So anyway, that's why there was a bit of a delay here. But I did get actually the chat added, so hopefully that works. But what's up, Daniel? Okay, yeah, real life Dolphins on the clock. Very, very cool. People are loving the Lions draft right now, so I'm pretty happy with it overall. It's funny, I'm trying to, whenever we see like we need running backs, I'm like, who are you talking about, Daniel? But I think he's talking about the Dolphins there. Is he talking about the Raiders, the Lions? How long have you been running? I started so let's see what my time zones are all messed up at 11 or 2:11, I guess, right? 2:11. Yeah. So only 10 minutes ago. Not even that. Yeah, about 10 minutes there. Daniel said that. Yeah, there's a delay on the chat in the actual screen. So when you type something in, you'll probably notice it pops up on the YouTube app right away, but then it has to kind of pick that up and then run it over to the OBS stream and so on. So bit of a delay. My dog's just joined us for the stream. Maybe I'll get the camera up next time and you guys can see my dog chilling here with me. She hurt her leg the other day. She's always had a bad leg. She's super athletic and likes to run around, but she always ends up hurting the same leg and kind of favoring that today. So her durability rating would not be a 99. I would say right now it's more in the 92 range right now. She's getting a little bit older, 7.5 years old now. So, but anyway, we're going to start seeing more positions pop up. So guys, get active here. This whole stream is us kind of taking this role here. We're seeing in the NFL draft all the different, the team front offices kind of getting together and talking about these picks and so on. And that's ultimately what we're leading up to. Of course, we will start with free agency. But I'm a big believer, guys, just kind of talk about general free agency philosophy. To me, you don't need to go too crazy. We have $30 million in cap space. So there's plenty of money, especially in the year 2008 here, to work with. So free agency to me is you look at top tier guys. You look at guys who are damn, this guy's a difference maker. This guy is going to have a huge impact. We're not looking at guys oh, okay, this guy could be our backup middle linebacker. No, save that for the draft. Even if you don't have a ton of draft picks, you can always sign guys like that later on, and you don't want to pigeonhole yourself where it's well, geez, I would like to draft this guy, but we just signed this backup for $3 million. I mean, that's silly, right? So definitely looking at high-end, high-tier free agencies, at least before the draft, and then we'll see how the draft shakes out. At the same time, I try to use free agency in a way that you can enter the draft without having massive holes somewhere where you're well, God, this guy's by far the best player in the draft, this receiver, but I have to pick this right guard because I don't have anybody. And you don't want to be in that position. You want to be able to say well, I like this guard, but this receiver is great. I already have a guard who can at least hold us over for this year. So definitely want to try to fill out some of these holes. And so again, that's kind of the general philosophy here as we kind of move into things. So we should start seeing, again, I have the speed on slow so we can kind of chat about some different things, but this will start to go quicker because really when they give us the scouting results for these positions, it's just the scouting results. There's no real activity that needs to take place, but it can help us a little bit identify, especially with us having the fourth overall pick, we might be able to avoid at least one top tier free agent. Uh-oh, you know what? Guys, we missed, that's why it was going slow. Let me back up here. I wasn't on the clipboard and we totally forgot to, we missed an entire position group there. So sorry about that. Let's just back up real quick. But again, the information is exactly, as far as I know, it's exactly the same. So it's not going to screw anything up. Check the chat here, see what's going on with everybody. You can see on the screen there, fantasy college coaches bring unique styles into the NFL. So you have the Texas Tech coach who will show up in your league. I mean, how cool is that? How cool. And again, Madden does a little bit of that stuff, but not quite the same. So we did the offensive lineman. I'm just going to skip that one. We're going to put this to, here we go. So, and this is just, all this is saying, okay, now that you've seen the results, why don't you go look at the combine scouting?
Scouts are getting ready to talk
see.
to the O-line. Which one are you interested in?
Okay, so no, this is, okay, cool. So we can look at a couple. That's what we had skipped. I'm really glad we reloaded this. So, so now that we've seen those results, right, and we looked a little bit closer, we can look at some of these guys. So, guys, first question I have is, do we waste our time looking at Jake Long? You know, this is someone that they have kind of slotted to go to Miami #1 overall. We only have 2 guys we can look at. I know we talked about Ryan Clady. He's at 66% scouted. He'd be a nice guy to look at. Chris Williams, we could probably get a really full picture on at this point. Because, again, I think for the top tier guys, to me, it'd be Chris Williams and Ryan Clady. Those would be the guys I'd want to look at. The question is, though, do we look down here and look for some, you know, project kind of players? So, you know, gosh, there's a lot, right? There are a lot of guys. So maybe let's just maybe look for guys that have like some positive quirks that are just like, ooh, like that's really surprising. So he's got size and potential, but bad durability. Like I'm looking for like a perfect storm of a player here. Not that exciting, not that exciting. Good pass block, good work ethic, but low upside. So no, good work ethic, nice character, but I also want you to be good. So no, no, no. I'm just looking at the positives here. Learning and work ethic, that's nice. He's got bad footwork, but he's undersized. He's not going to be a fit for us. This guy's got really nice size. He's athletic, but again, undersized, really. Good size, it says. Yeah, that's not bad. But again, like nothing's that's like jumping out at me exactly. Work ethic and upside, that's nice. It's got nice size. But I mean, center, again, I would rather, we only get 2 of these, right? So, I don't know. Guys, I'm kind of thinking, I mean, we can always take a flyer. I mean, how are we going to, you know, we could take a flyer on any of these guys and even pick one of them later on. But to me, it kind of seems like the best use because I really don't want to take an interior lineman like in the first round or anything like that, as nice as Brandon Albert might look. I guess the one thing we could see is there a right guard that would satisfy our owners? Oh, there is. So there's a right guard. This would satisfy an owner goal. But again, in 86, when are we going to pick this guy? We wouldn't take him #4 overall, and we don't have a pick till the 4th round. So do we waste one of our 2 available reports on this guy? Because to me, it's like he would be in the mix, Williams, Clady. And if I had 3, those are the 3 guys I'd do. But it's a tough call. Okay, so Delonte's saying not to look at first-round linemen. Okay, so not any of them. He's saying not look at any of them. And I don't mind looking at a first-round tackle. I mean, a left tackle is something you want. You definitely need to get a guy who can absolutely just anchor things down, kind of, you know, cancel out the team's right end, who's usually their primary rush defender. Yeah, we could definitely trade back in the draft. And again, I think guys like this are going to be available. Ryan Clady and Chris Williams. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards these guys. I guess my question is, this guard would satisfy our owner goal, but screw the GM goal. But screw the GM goal. Like, I'm not picking a guard in the first round. and probably not in the second round. I mean, if this guy fell to the second round, maybe, but we don't even have that pick yet. So maybe that answers it. I would like to get a closer look at Chris Williams and Ryan Clady. I will pause to see if anyone strongly opposes that. But to me, and again, we're only talking linemen here. This isn't all players. This is just linemen. Your first round pick, especially if we have number 4, or if we trade down, it'd be somewhere else. But this is where the bulk of your money from the draft's going to go. Like, you don't want to mess that pick up. So there is definitely some there's some strong advantages to using your scouting here on guys that could potentially go in the first round for you. So so let's see, Badger. I'm guessing you're talking about the Raiders franchise. I can never tell who you guys are talking about, but I'm thinking, yeah, there are some players we could put on our draft board. I'm making the assumption that we will have more draft picks. I really don't know if I want to stand pat at number 4 unless we just see like there's just some dynamic playmaker of a player, whether that's on offense or defense. But like, I don't think I'd be drafting like a linebacker. It's going to be like a defensive end. We don't really need a corner. So like, the only thing that I'd even consider at number 4, of course, a quarterback, which we don't need. I don't think I'd even really look at a running back. It would be like a receiver, a left tackle on offense. That's probably it, which again was why these guys would make sense. On defense, it'd be like a defensive end or a corner, but we don't need corner. We could use an end, even though we wouldn't really see a lot of playing time just yet. But to me, again, trading down, trying to accumulate more picks would work, and it could also satisfy these left tackle this left tackle problem we have. So yes, are there players we can trade for picks? I think so. So again, I think that falls into this here. Is let's get a closer look at these two guys who tested out well. I think Jake Long might be more of a run blocking tackle, and I also just don't think he'll even be available for us. So let's see what we got out of those two guys. Now we're gonna have a really nice look at what's his face. This one guy's gonna be almost like fully scouted. So let's look at Clady in a second. So Chris Williams is up to 92. He is almost fully scouted at this point. So again, durability is good. His physical, as far as like his physicality, right? 86 is pretty good. Really nice size that we like. His learning. So now we have his learning score. Now this is kind of tied into like how quickly they can reach their potential, but I think it mostly ties into their ability to learn the playbook, which again, for an offensive lineman, probably isn't as huge of a deal. But still, 85 learning is really, really good. And again, you can see that now that's his highest positive, right? So an 85 is his highest positive. Pass block footwork we should have. Yeah, so pass block footwork is only a 79. That's his second. And we can see his size. So is he a guy who's like going to be the most dominant left tackle in the league? Is he Orlando Pace? No, he's not going to be a guy like that, it seems. But again, he still looks pretty good. I mean, I like the durability. He's got nice awareness. Like, this guy is going to definitely be, I think, a good player. But again, there's no way I'd pick a guy like this in number 4 pick. Here's his personality traits now. So I'm really looking here at just kind of anything that might be a negative. Nothing on that page. He's skeptical, but I mean, again, that's not a big deal. And you can see his health checks out really, really well. So again, good player. It would be someone we consider, I think, if we trade down. Ryan Clady. Oh, by the way, how old is Williams? These guys are both 22. They're about the same size. This guy's 4 pounds heavier. Has, I think, a little bit of a better physical score, just barely 88. Learning slightly lower at 82, but still really good. So again, he's got really nice footwork, nice potential, but work ethic and consistency, those are some interesting challenges there. We don't get to see a ton about him just yet. We don't get the Senior Bowl scouting, but he's got nice strength. Can definitely run block. It seems like he'll be able to hold his own pass blocking, but we just don't know. He's got good strength for it. So let's see here. He's got some interesting traits: expressive, spontaneous. He's dramatic. He's impulsive. So again, these things, I mean, these could come into play a little bit. I would say so far his personality traits don't impress me as much as what's his face, Chris Williams. He's materialistic. He's reckless, and he's stubborn. And they have about the same health. So to me, even though he's I would actually put Chris Williams above. I think I like Chris Williams better than Ryan Platte, personally. So the moment you've all been waiting for is now up, though. And it's kickers and punters, combine workouts. I mean, I want to see how.
All right, Coach. I've got the results from today's drills at the combine.
We absolutely need a punter who can run a super fast 40 time, obviously. So I'm kidding. There's absolutely nothing here I care about. I guess we could look at some of their like leg strength. So we have two guys here. I mean, this guy looks, whoever this is going to be, looks to be the strongest. These two guys here, 36 and 35. So Melhaf and Carmody are two kickers we could take a look at. But again, we have probably the best kicker in the league right now. So is that the same screen? I think I just have to dismiss it. Yeah, so we have to dismiss that real quick. And then it should let us scout one of them. We did scout a couple
All right, Coach, it's time to talk to the kickers. Which one's it going to be?
So here's that one guy that we just got the information. He's got leg strength, but he has negative kick accuracy. So no thanks. If your biggest negative is kick accuracy, you're a damn kicker. The other kicker was this guy. He's got bad upside, but for a kicker, he's got decent leg strength. 90 kick power. Okay, that's pretty good. It doesn't tell us anything about his accuracy. We get to scout 4 of these guys, so I would say probably also the 2 guys we scouted earlier. Oh yeah, whoa, look at that. Kick power 97, dang. So let's take a look at him. This punter we checked out earlier, we'll do these pretty quick here. Kickers and punters aren't all that exciting. He looks pretty good. And again, we don't need one, but something we could do is we are paying our kicker and punter a little bit of money because they're both pretty good. And truthfully, if we needed more cap space, it wouldn't hurt to grab somebody like this, and we could get rid of one of these guys. One thing I've noticed is like our punter is like a 93 overall. When I put him on the trade block, I think this game doesn't really know how to like handle kickers and punters properly because it was like offering me the moon for this punter, and I'm like, okay, there's a new house rule. You can't put your kicker and punter on the trade block. So I think for us to kind of keep things realistic, it would have to be like we cut him for a cap reason. But we do get to scout these guys. We might as well. We said we're not scouting that guy. Kick power 90, that's nice. Kick power 88, 86. Well, I mean, I guess we go with the punter with the best leg, so easy enough. No big decisions there. I don't even really know if we care to even look that closely, but I guess we'll check out that one kicker with like the 97 power. That's pretty impressive. And Jeff Wilkins is a good kicker. That's a good comparison. He could definitely be good. Seems healthy. I mean, he's a kicker. So, all right, cool. So, got kickers and punters done. I know that's a super exciting one. Yeah, negative learning for a kicker. What does he need to learn? Yeah, probably not a lot. So, combine workouts for the quarterbacks. Now, I'm going to just do a quick save here because again, some of the stuff I've been reading on Operation Sports and elsewhere when I was getting back into this game is like, oh my gosh, save often. This game can crash. It has not crashed once for me. Knock on wood, but just in case. We'll just do a few quick saves here and there. So quarterbacks, right? I talked to you guys about how we want to run that kind of option spread attack a little bit. It's not our primary offense, but it is something we're mixing in. I think it's something Jamarcus Russell can do, but may not be great at. So we are kind of looking at some speed here, but also at the end of the day, you need to be able to throw the ball, right? So ball speed results, I'm not really sure what this even means because these really aren't all that fast. So I don't know, I really don't know what this means, but let's just say 60 means something. So let's see who is at least at a 60. And if there's any guys that we were kind of keeping an eye on earlier, like that guy from Kentucky. And no, it's really nobody that impressive. How about 40 times here? Oh, we got a couple really fast quarterbacks. So we have 3 guys who are below 4.5. And I think at least, yeah, and all 3 of them actually had pretty good ball speed results. That's interesting. So more, and again, this is, kind of a project quarterback. Maybe you grab later, Morris, Brink, or Ostrander. I think that's how you say his name. The 60-yard dash. So again, just a little bit more speed numbers. It's the same guys. So these guys are definitely showing to be kind of the quickest ones in the draft here. Yep, and it's the same 3 guys again. So we definitely have some guys with good speed. This is more of like an agility drill. So maybe we get a 4th guy kind of in the mix here. Joe Flacco with a super strong agility drill. He's 6'7". Is that for real? Is Joe? I didn't know he was that tall. My goodness. But I mean, if we look at his speed numbers, I mean, it's still not bad, but it's not great. That's really interesting. I would have never thought Joe Flacco would have a cone score like that. And I'm just trying to see, like, is he even in the same ballpark? 6'7". I mean, that's actually kind of lean for 6'7", right? He's probably leaner than these guys. That's really interesting. But he had a pretty bad ball speed score. So again, he's just not really that whole package. So I'd still be kind of looking at these guys. I don't care about really too much of their strength. But Morris, Brink, and Ostrander look interesting. So again, combine workouts for oops, I always forget to discuss that. Combine workouts for quarterbacks, a little misleading. But we still can scout them for...
So, Coach, what quarterback do you want the scouts to interview?
For anything else. And we get a whopping one quarterback scout because our GM sucks at scouting quarterbacks. So let's just look for those 3 names at least. I think, wasn't Brink one of them? I think it was Brink Morris. So he's got negative arm, negative upside, negative mobility. So, and his NFL comparison's Todd Collins, who is not a very... he's only got 63 speed. Oh, that's nice. So we can actually see their speeds at this point. So no thanks. Bernard Morris was another one. He's only got 64 speed though. Yeah, no thanks. And then Ostrander was the other one. 65 speed. So how do they get such strong scores? Like I guess they're just very combine friendly players. Let's just kind of scout by, I guess if we can see all their speeds, obviously. That's interesting. His comparison's Jeff Garcia, but he's got 44 speed. Jeff Garcia can move around. So, I mean, these 60 scores don't excite me. This is, or Dante Culpepper, sorry. Let's see, against 60s. I want to see that quarterback from Kentucky, too, because we were looking at him as kind of a sleeper pick. Holy cow. So, Josh Johnson, 92 speed. His NFL comparison's Vince Young. Okay. And he's got acceleration, and look at his throwing power. 92. I didn't even think to look at throwing power for these other guys. Any other really good arms? 90 for Sam Keller, but he's slow. Holy cow, Josh Johnson. Oops, passed him up. Guys, look at this guy. Athleticism, his number 1. Playmaking, that's pretty good. Doesn't really throw a deep ball, even though he's got 92 arm strength. Mechanics, small school, I don't care about. That doesn't bother me. We don't know much about him because this is the first information we got. He's from USD, University of San Diego. So, dang, we definitely have to keep a closer eye on that guy. 90-something speed, that's awesome. So let's see, let's go back to looking at the speed and throwing arm. So, nope, nope, nope. And there's Joe Flacco. So I don't know how he was. I mean, he's just got good agility. You can see 66. That's not bad. But Jay Cutler, looking at some of these other comparisons. But Josh Johnson, this is the 2008 Vince Young comparison. So, I mean, this isn't like a scrub comparison or something like this. Like Josh Johnson. Is this the guy we scout? Again, Joe Flacco would satisfy our owner. He wants us to draft or obtain an 85 or higher quarterback. But why the hell would we draft a quarterback who doesn't really fit our system when we already have Jamarcus Russell we're working on? I mean, to me, I'm going to check the chat, but to me, Josh Johnson, goodness. Oh yeah, we didn't see, where is this? Where is the, why isn't he here? Oh, you know what? I bet you he didn't, maybe some players don't show up to the combine. How cool is that? Or he wasn't invited? the Kentucky quarterback because he's not here. Because I agree, Delonte, I totally agree. We've been trying to keep an eye on that, but maybe we can throw Josh Johnson in the mix. Guys, we have to scout this guy. All right, I don't see any. I know there's a delay here, but I figure people would be freaking out if they were against it. Yes, Waffles is saying Kentucky or Josh Johnson. Well, we can't do Kentucky, so dang, I'm excited to see this one. Let's go look at the result. Josh Johnson. Now, see, the Kentucky guy will be on this screen because he's still in this list. Yeah, see, there he is. But see, we don't have as much information because these guys down here did not go to the combine. How cool is that? That is like really, really impressive. But anyway, where did he get rated higher? Oh, he's about the same, 61. So durability checks out. That's good. I'm just going to go back and look at that. So yeah, he's in good shape there. Really nice size, 6'3", 213. We saw those numbers, so we're going to get some of his personality. He's dramatic, spontaneous, expressive, impulsive. Okay, so he's not the greatest personality. He's reckless, materialistic, stubborn. Okay, so he can be a pain, but I mean, he's an interesting player for sure. Super, super fast. That's pretty awesome. I didn't even think, again, maybe there's some guys who weren't in the combine with some good speed too. Oh, but I guess never mind. We won't see those because like Matt Ryan wasn't apparently at the combine. So, so interesting. All right, well, running back time. Let's do a quick save. Before we get to free agency, I'll make a backup save too, just in case, because again, corrupt files, things like that with the PS3 have happened before. So we're about a week away from free agency. So running back, right? We talked a little bit about team running back. We had Fargas who ran for 1,000 yards last year. He's got excellent speed. And we kind of identified Michael Bush as being a power back option, 6'2", 243. He could come in, like, say, like goal line formations, things like that. So I think we're good on power back. We have Lamont Jordan, Dominic Rhodes, who honestly, with their cap hits, I mean, these guys, if we need, these guys really, they're making a lot of money. No bonus here. So, like, we could get rid of Lamont Jordan for nothing. I mean, there'd be no problem here. Maybe he's a guy we do throw up onto our trade block, like a few of you mentioned. And I don't think they actually have, let me see. I don't feel like I can actually put people on the trade block just yet for some weird reason. Where is it? Roster. Yeah, because like they don't even have trades available here. Like I can't even make a trade. So we can't actually put anybody on the trade block, but I think it's definitely fair to say, yeah, that we might, you know, could look for a running back. Again, we're going to need more picks because I like Fargas. He's super fast, but he doesn't really have great vision. He might not always find the right hole, which in this game is going to matter because we don't play the games. And his durability, I remember being a little bit lower. So anyway, we should definitely do our due diligence here. We're not going to look at any stupid fullbacks. You know, again, looking at speed, you got Chris Johnson, McFadden, whoever this Thomas guy is. Is that Jordan Parmalee, I think? So there's a lot of really fast. Jamal Charles, Kevin Smith, Steve Slayton, Ray Rice, Mendenhall. I'm surprised his is that high. Felix Jones, Matt Forte, Jonathan Stewart. So, I mean, there's a number of running backs who are sub 4.5, but you know, there's some. How many guys who are sub 4.4? 1, 2, 3. There's 7 guys. Again, 60-yard results who are also sub 4.4. Let's see, Darren McFadden. So like if sub 11 and sub 4, he's the only one. Honorable mention, Chris Johnson. So really, McFadden, Johnson's got a better 40 times. So those guys are pretty close. Same thing with Jamal Charles. Maybe Jordan Parmalee. So definitely some good there's definitely some speed, it seems like, at the halfback position. I'm looking at the 40 times over here while I sort by this just to see the other like sub 4.4 guys. This is McFadden. So I mean, McFadden definitely looks like the best running back. I mean, he's just popping up everywhere on this list. The next couple other 4.3 guys. So again, these guys are exactly the same. Oman, Parmalee, Thomas. So again, if we kind of look at running backs later, maybe these guys, right? Thomas, Parmalee, and Oman. They kind of hit all the check marks. Who's this here? Jamal Charles. Again, just looking at the 40 times to see where the next 4.3. So now we're starting to get pretty higher. But to me, there's like 4 running backs that we wouldn't have to like waste like maybe a first round pick on. It was Charles, and then these 3 guys here. It was like, wasn't it? Yeah, Thomas, Parmalee, and Oman. Yeah, and then Charles. So those 4 guys look interesting to me. We haven't even looked at kind of the agility stuff. Or did we? No. So again, looking at the highest agility scores, while also looking at the 40 times, there's definitely a handful of guys. Thomas, Parmalee, Oman, there they are again. Those guys are intriguing to me. You got a guy like Aldridge. There's McFadden again. Starts to get these 3 guys for sure. These guys look like they could be fun little projects. Wouldn't have to spend probably a lot of money on. I don't think they're towards the top of the draft list or anything like that. Because I've looked at these draft lists before and things like this. I don't think those guys are very high on it. I don't care about vertical. Broad jump's kind of nice. I mean, again, it kind of shows you. I mean, I guess both these kind of show your leg strength. So, geez, look at the drop off. Who are these 3 dudes? What the heck? These guys are crazy. Who are these guys? I like how they just have the exact same scores. Like, obviously, you can tell the algorithm just kind of spit these guys out the same. These guys are sick athletes. What the hell? Broad jumps, not the highest, but still. I mean, as far as, like, again, looking at the 4.3 or sub 4.4 40 time guys here, let's see on the left there. Who's this guy? That's Aldridge. Let's see, the next 4.3. There's Jamal Charles, Chris Johnson. You see, Chris Johnson and like McFadden, those guys are going to be probably first round picks. Jamal Charles, probably not. And then you get finally Parmalee, Oman, and what was the other one? Thomas? I'm already forgetting. Parmalee, Oman, who was it? Or I'm sorry, these guys with the crazy vert. Thomas, M. Thomas, I have to remember that. Thomas, Parmalee, Oman. That's crazy stuff. And apparently those guys can also throw. Who are these freaks? We have one of these running backs are like complete freaks. We could run like Wildcat with these guys. That is just nuts. We have a power back, so again, while it's nice to have some strength, I'm not super worried about that. But I guess honorable mention for some power backs. They're all fullbacks. So, okay. Well, I definitely have a few guys I'd like to scout there. Let me pause and see what you guys think about that. That is something else. Of course, yeah, the name Savage. I mean, that's just a great name for a football player, no doubt. If you guys have thoughts on any of these running backs, let me know.
Coach, what halfback do you want the scouts to interview?
Again, I would love to learn. I know. Here's another question, right? We have number 4 pick in the draft. McFadden definitely looks like he's, the potential. I mean, look at his NFL comparison. It's Adrian Peterson. Like, goodness. Size-speed ratio, big playability, great vision. But look at his negatives, especially with a team who I like to pass the ball to my running backs. It's just part of that offense. He has bad hands, bad ball security, and bad character. It's kind of a big deal. 98 speed, 97 agility, 99 acceleration. Yikes. He's only 20 years old. How many of these? We only get 3, though. Damn it. Like, I want to use them on those one guys. Like, I wonder if they're literally rated the same thing. I mean, I'm still kind of leaning towards skipping. Um, I'm kind of leaning towards skipping a guy like McFadden because he looks really, really good, but I just don't really think he's a great fit. And I don't even think I'd waste my time on these other guys because, again, I just don't really want a running back this high in the draft. We have other needs that are way more pressing, especially on the offensive line, at receiver, things like that. At the same time, it's the best friend to your rookie quarter or your young quarterback, second-year quarterback's having a good run game. So these are tough calls. But let's go see where those other guys rank. Because again, as much as I liked seeing Chris Johnson and McFadden, these guys are potentially going to be first-round picks. The Jamal Charles was somebody. So again, kind of looking at his profile, 22. Of course, he turned out to be a great pro, but we don't know that here. And it's very likely that's not the case because this was before he became a great pro. So, but big playability, athleticism, speed. He also has negative ball security. Negative ball security to me is a big deal. He's super athletic, but I can tell you this: I'd rather have him than Darren McFadden because I could get this guy way later. And to me, they look similar. He's older and everything, but still. So I really don't think I want to waste my time with Darren McFadden. But Jamal Charles looks interesting. Where are those other dudes at? These secret weapons. M. Thomas, there he is. Marcus Thomas. He's only 21 from UTEP. His durability score is a little bit lower. He only had a production of 6. This guy, was he like a backup at UTEP? Who is this dude? He's got great hands for catching the ball. That's nice. Vision, versatility, very nice. Quickness, toughness, and elusiveness, which is really weird because he seems super athletic. 90 speed. He's got really nice agility. I mean, he seems kind of slow, but still. He's interesting. Definitely interesting. Let's see if the other guys look very, very similar. Xavier Oman. Deuce McAllister is a comparison. Nice. That's literally, one of the reasons I picked the Saints playbook was trying to want to build a offense around a guy like Deuce McAllister. So that's very enticing to see that. He's very versatile. He's got good power and size. He's definitely a bulky dude. 5'8", 211. Small school, don't care. Explosiveness. Ball security is an issue, though. Damn. This guy's in their ball security. He is super slow, though. 84 speed. How did he run? How did he get such good metrics at the combine? It's so weird. And then Parmalee was the other one, right? So he's 21. Archos Pinner, former Detroit Lion. Break tackle instincts, blocks. He has bad hands and ball security, so I'm kind of over him. He's got bad speed. So I would probably cross Parmalee off the list, but I'm still intrigued by Oman. Except for his speed looked really, really rough. And then the other one was Marcus Thomas. Were there any strikes on this guy? Nice hands. I think he just had the 90 speed. So I would probably still put Marcus Thomas probably at the top of that list, but definitely Jamal Charles looks like an interesting guy that we could grab in the mid rounds. Maybe even with our 4th round picks, it's probably an early 4th round pick, but I don't know. I don't know if he'd be available. He's a 70 something as so far that we've seen. That's probably gonna be closer to 3rd round talent. But here's Savage. Here's Waffles guy here. NFL comparison, Dominic Rhodes. He's got nice work ethic. He went to the Senior Bowl, so we get a little bit more information on him. Decent speed. Nothing on his personality. So, well, we get 3 guys. I think for sure. So I think I have my 3. We crossed off Parmalee. I think I would do Oman, just because the Deuce McAllister is really enticing. I think I would do Marcus Thomas, and I think I would do Jamal Charles. And again, these are all guys that we could grab later in the draft. The first 2 guys on that selected list, definitely, 4th, maybe 5th round even. And they'd be nice to just kind of add in, especially if we can cut those other overpriced running back. And then we'd kind of go with, we could have Fargus as kind of like our speedy back. We'd have Michael Bush as our power back, and this guy maybe, I don't know, as a running back 2 or a 3rd down back kind of thing, just depending who it is. But definitely could be in that stable of running backs. So I will check the chat quick, but I think these are good choices here. So yeah, there's no feedback there in the chat just yet on that. This is who we're going with. So, all right, let's see what these guys came back with here. This game is so great for this stuff. I mean, just to be able to really take your time, and like I said, that's what this stream's a little bit different. Is just we're really taking our time and going through the scouting, right, and just looking to see what we can learn about, especially even some of these lower players. So durability checks out. His learning isn't bad. My dog's gonna go crazy because the door. She's saving us. Thank goodness. So big playability. We saw these scouting details earlier, and we've seen these earlier. So I think what we're learning here are personality traits. Humble. He's realistic. He's a problem solver. He's patient, level-headed. Oh, I love this guy. He's got a great personality. Uncompromising. That's okay though. Some of those I guess quote unquote negative ones can just be, hey, he just knows what he likes. Left leg could be a bit of a problem there. But again, you grab this guy in the 4th round. I mean, that's fine. I mean, running backs a lot of times don't even make it to a second contract. So I mean, this is a guy, and that's why I think one of the reasons why picking one that early can be a problem, unless they're just absolutely studly. And I would have looked at Darren McFadden, but him having negative ball security, not good hands, and having character, like those are 3 big strikes. Like, no thanks. If it was maybe a receiver, well, maybe we could put up with it, or a quarterback, but at a running back, no. So you get take a guy like Jamaal Charles. If he plays for you for 4 years, great. He'll be 26, 27. Honestly, by then you're done with him at the running back position. They just take too much wear and tear. So, but I do like Jamaal Charles. He's a guy I think we can kind of keep our eye on. Then we looked at Marcus Thomas. His durability came back pretty decent. He's just 21. So we saw that information already. He's a team player. He likes rules, well-rounded, level-headed. He's loyal. Again, really nice personality. Checks out. His health's fine. Him being 21, you can have an extra year. So again, I'd be fine with him too. Not a bad player at all. And then Xavier Oman, our Deuce McAllister comparison. I really wish his speed would pop to be a lot higher because that is interesting. But I mean, for a 3rd down back, does it really? I mean, if he can just get open and make a move and pick up 4 or 5 yards for the 1st down, I mean, that's kind of definitely plays a role. I don't think I'd spend a 3rd round pick on that, but he's energetic, he's optimistic. So again, good personalities here on these guys, all 3 of these guys: team player, patient, loyal, trusting. And his health checks out really nice as well. So yeah, I think we did a good job scouting these running backs. Actually, I like all 3 of those guys. So cool. Receivers, tight ends. Let's save. 8 days away from free agency as we approach kind of the end of February at this point. Those running backs are exciting. Yeah, right. Jamaal Charles is a rookie, but again, different Jamaal Charles here. But maybe he could be as good. Maybe he could be even better. We just don't know. That's what I kind of, as much as like, updated rosters are so cool, it's kind of fun to go through with these classic rosters, right? So real quick on our receivers, right? First off, we have a nice young tight end in, I already forgot his name, Zach something. Let me go back and look here. But we're good at tight end. I would like to get a tight end too, but I'm not wasting scouting on that. It's really just a guy I'd like to come in and maybe help block. But Zach Miller, 21 years old, really, really nice player, great potential. We are good at tight end. Perfectly comfortable moving with him. Receiver, as we saw, we have a couple guys without contracts there. So really, we're talking about Curry, who we said is kind of just like a filler guy. He's probably going to be like a receiver 4 potentially. He might start the season as like a receiver 2. I think it's like his high end. But again, probably going to slot more in kind of like a depth role. But that depends a lot on whether Johnny Lee Higgins and Chris McFoy can develop into this potential they have. They have really, really nice potential. And so these are nice players, but again, as we're trying to develop a young quarterback, are these guys we can depend on? We just don't know. But I think it's safe to say we probably don't need to throw another young, experienced receiver into this mix, at least early. If there's something there later on as a project, for sure. But like the number 4 pick, I mean, they better be damn good and damn ready to make an impact, I think. for us to take a receiver that high in the draft. And I don't really think there is anyone in here that's going to be like that, which we'll see. But I think there are definitely some nice project receivers that we could take a look at. I do think we have to look for a receiver upgrade, though. It's one of our GM goals. But again, maybe signing a veteran to come in for a year or so to kind of, as a contingency plan that we could put in, and maybe start with Curry as receiver 2, let these guys kind of grow into the role, see how they do. I think Higgins could probably get into that mix. We can see how he does in the preseason. McFoy is probably not ready just yet, even though he's 24. He might not ever be reaching that full potential. But all these guys have really good speed. And again, that's something we're looking for in terms of, actually, I guess they don't. I thought they had better speed than this. So Curry's pretty slow. Higgins is probably average for this game. McFoy, again, just okay speed. We got Tim Dwight, but he's a free agent. He's not on the roster. So we literally only have 3 receivers on the roster. So we need receivers. But they don't necessarily have to be like, again, now if there's a dude, there's a Calvin Johnson in the draft or something, hell yeah, we're going to take him. But don't think that's going to be the case. So we are a team that's kind of looking for speed. That's just kind of our makeup, not to be surprised with the Raiders here. And speed we have. We have a number of very, very fast receivers. And we were looking at guys again, there's plenty of guys who are sub 4.4. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So even more than the running backs that we saw. So what about guys who are sub 4.4, but also sub 11 seconds in the 60-yard? There's only one, and I don't know if that's Deshaun Jackson, because there's 2 D Jacksons. The 6-foot D Jackson looks very promising with this. But again, honorable mention, the other D Jackson, the 5'10" D Jackson, I would say is an honorable mention, as well as D Thomas. Honorable mention there. Avery, not too bad. So there's a lot of speed here. I mean, there's some guys. Again, there's quite a few. Quite a few guys. How about the 20-yard? What about like less than 4.1 or something? But also a sub 4.4. So you got any of these guys. So M. Henry is 6'4" too. Look at that size and speed. My goodness. Another guy with great speed, K. Robinson. There are a lot of pretty good receivers here. At least combine metrics, and that's not a huge surprise. These guys are always super athletes. So here's D. Thomas again. The 6-foot D Jackson, if that's Deshaun Jackson, whoever the 6-foot one is, looks to be a little bit better than the other one. Agility is nice in a receiver, no doubt. Again, just giving me maybe like sub 6'9" or something. We can see, but it definitely looks like there's plenty of guys here. There's the 6-foot D Jackson again. Now we have this Franklin guy popping in. The other D Jackson. There's that M. Henry guy, 6'4". He's super intriguing. Jay Johnson, Robinson, Ureta, Andre Caldwell. Now vert, again, something we're looking at. It's so weird how like some of these guys just have crazy verts and then the rest of them don't. Look at this Henry guy, 6'4". Of course, the 2 6'4" guys would have good verts. That's not a huge surprise, but the fact that they have this crazy speed too. It's something with this game, like just generating. Look at this, like they all kind of get generated out as like really, really crazy metrics. So I'm not really sure. It doesn't always translate when we looked at them closely. Broad jump to me is kind of more about strength. I'm not really super concerned about that. Same thing with bench press. I don't really care. If we were looking for more like physical receivers, perhaps a few of these guys can even throw the ball, just in case we're ever curious. M. Henry, this guy's like a wonder boy here. He can do everything. So again, there's a look there at the receivers. So let's see. We're not going to waste scouting.
What wide receiver would you like us to interview, Coach?
We get 6 of them. Not going to waste looking at tight ends. I want to get another tight end, but I'm fine just signing a backup tight end in free agency. Now, do we get any like speed score? Okay, we do. So 86 speed. I mean, we have guys without speed, right? A 92 speed tight end. If we needed a tight end, that'd be nice. But 86 speed is pretty slow for a receiver. Wasn't D Thomas? Was he one of the guys? Or no, I'm thinking the running back. So again, not bad speed. Donnie Avery, 100 speed. What the hell? Acceleration 99. 81 catching. Elusiveness 99. Juke move 90. Holy cow. His NFL comparison is Steve Smith. He's an 86 overall. So again, probably going to be a first or second, late first, early second round pick, which we don't have. He would actually satisfy too our GM goal. But speed, acceleration, big play. But oh god, look at his negatives. Hands and route running. Like what the heck, man? But he's intriguing. We get 60s. We got to put him on the list. He's definitely intriguing. 6'6", but again, we're kind of starting with speed. Pretty slow. Eddie Royal. We looked at Eddie Royal earlier, didn't we? I think we did. Yeah, since we scouted him up there. Pretty good speed. He can catch. He can move around. Good explosiveness. 83. So he wouldn't satisfy our goal, but he would give us some depth. I guess I'll throw him on the list for now. 85 speed, 90 speed. Oh, here's. Okay, so here's one of the D Jacksons. Is this the 6' one? This is. So Deshaun Jackson is the better D Jackson here. We all know Deshaun Jackson in real life turned out to be a really, really great player. Speed, hands, return ability. I don't care about his size all that much. Durability, maybe, but he has a pretty high durability skill. So to me, that's kind of a clue that this guy could be really good. If durability is his third worst thing, but we don't get the details of it. But on the left, durability is 96. His size is his biggest negative. And again, that's not terrible. 6'1", 166. Deshaun Jackson, to this probably the surprise of nobody here, he could be a pretty darn good player. I think we definitely look here. Here's the other D Jackson. This is Dexter Jackson. He's our Devin Hester comparison, I meant to say, that a lot of you are wanting to see on the, I think, episode number 1. Speed, return ability, vision. A little bit shorter, but again, not terrible. His speed's not all that great. So I don't know. So the same reasons again. I mean, to me, like he's got his speed is his biggest thing, and it's only a 91. I'm over him. So let's see. Just looking again for some of these speedier guys. 95 speed, Harry Douglas. Is this the 6'4" guy? No. So Harry Douglas, his NFL comparisons, Isaac Bruce. That's pretty good. Explosiveness, speed, hands. Size is a negative, but again, it's not that bad. Good catching. Really good elusiveness, you can see there. Definitely checks out with his speed. So, yeah, I think Harry Douglas is an interesting guy to take a look at. I really like looking at these, like, guys 60s, and because they're late round guys that could fall, and you're going to get a really nice report on those guys for later. Just taking a quick pause to see. I can't see the chat on my TV, obviously, so I need to keep an eye on it here. Yeah, Delonte, I agree. I think the Deshaun Jackson now that we know it's him. Yeah, right. Yeah, 100 speed Avery. Get that man a contract, Delonte says, for sure. Yeah, it's true. Tyreek Hill isn't like the world's greatest. Yeah, no, for sure. So let's keep looking for some speed here at the receiver position. And again, it doesn't mean we can't draft other guys. It's just if we're going to really, does the speed actually check out? Are they going to be, what kind of personality are we getting? That's kind of what we're looking at this point. So Andre Caldwell was a guy we saw showing up on the combine. Again, his speed checks out. His agility, not so much. Probably just more of a straight line runner. Chris Chambers was definitely a good pro. He's got, again, decent ratings. Speed is his best one. I really like that he's got strong route running to go along with that. What was his speed again? 96. Yeah, so I mean that kind of checks out. Durability, 93 isn't great durability, but we'll get a closer look at that. So I like Andre Caldwell. We only got one more. So Josh Morgan. We haven't gotten to the. I already forgot the name of that 6'4" guy, but Henry, right? It was something Henry. This guy's got negative. I don't really like his negatives. Work ethic, focus, and route running. We got to start taking some people off this list. So I think for that, his biggest being route running. Yeah, I don't know. Not a big fan of that. Mario Manningham, Chad Johnson's his NFL comparison. Really good speed. It's a really nice route runner to go along. They don't even have, look at that, 96 speed, and it's not even considered one of his strengths. That's interesting. This guy's definitely going to be on our list. So Manningham, I'll keep an eye. If I add him, it's going to make me advance. So, but Mario Manningham definitely on the list. Starting to get down into some lower guys now, but that's okay. We have a really nice list going right now. Yeah, perfect. All right, I think we just add Manningham. I think the one guy I was hesitant on was Eddie Royal, but I don't really have anyone else that we'd want to replace him with. But I'll give it one more look just to make sure, because there was a little hesitation with him. I mean, at the very least, you could put him back to return kicks and stuff. I mean, he'd be a really nice guy to kind of have for some depth. And he looks like a good player, so yeah, I think we should keep him on there. So let's add Manningham and be done with receivers. Manningham looks really good. So does Deshaun Jackson. And of course, was it Donnie Avery with the crazy speed, 100 speed. All right, let's see how these guys did.
NFL restricted free agent signing period officially begins at 9 a.m. this morning as teams focus on tendering their restricted free agents. Once tenders have been handed out, players work with interested teams on offer sheets. If they sign those offer sheets, their original team has 10 days to match or let the player sign with the new team.
So when's the last time you saw restricted free agency in Madden? I don't even think it's ever been there. Oops, where am I going? So yeah, super cool. All right, so we almost have Donnie Avery fully scouted. Look at his comparison being Steve Smith. I mean, that is impressive. So again, we saw all this stuff. We're looking at his personality now. Expressive, dramatic, spine. He's a receiver, so he's got a lot of receiver personality traits so far. Very, very receiver traits, no doubt. His durability checks out. Yeah, this guy, I mean, and he would actually satisfy our owner goal. So like if we traded down maybe in the late first, I still think it might be a bit of a stretch. But like if we got a second round pick and this guy's around, man, he's pretty damn good. But I think the thing that freaked me out about him were his negatives. Hands, route running, catching traffic. But he has 81 hands. That's not that bad. So again, if that's his worst trait, like Donnie Avery definitely looks really good. I think him and that left tackle so far, Williams, I think it was, those guys stand out to me. And of course, we saw some running backs for later. But as far as like top players, Donnie Avery, definitely in the mix. Here's Eddie Royal. Again, we got his personality traits now. Yeah, seems like a good kid here. His left leg, though. So his durability, he's one of the least durable players we've scouted. So a bit of a red flag there with Eddie Royal. And that's really the only info we're getting on a lot of these guys. It's just personalities and a little bit further with durability. Deshaun Jackson, so his health looks pretty good. His personality traits, you can see, again, kind of a bit of a diva here. He does have driven. I think driven is one of the most important traits I was reading about this game, and the fact that, again, like reaching their potential, that kind of thing. So driven's really interesting. He's one of those guys with maybe a bad personality that you could put up with because of the potential skill he could bring to your team. So Deshaun Jackson looks very interesting. Harry Douglas we took a look at. Looks like he's got a nice personality. Very durable. So, okay, he checks out really well. Mario Manningham. Durability, not bad, but again, the right leg, a bit worrisome. Also doesn't seem to have the best personality, but he does have driven. So he is driven, but he's dramatic. He's self-focused, materialistic. So again, am I trading up to get Mario Manningham in the second round? Nope. But if he's floating around later on, sure. Andre Caldwell, personality traits. Looks okay. That seems fine. His health, oof, left leg. Some of these guys got some bum legs already. So something to take a closer look at there. Who else do we scout? All these 66% guys we did not scout. I think that's it. So, all right, well, getting closer looks. Let's save things up here. Moving on to linebackers. This part of the season kind of drags, right? It goes a little bit slower. We are going to see restricted free agency start here. Once you get into free agency, it starts moving along, and then obviously you get into the draft, and it's just awesome. I mean, just super, super cool. So, and even the way that this game does free agency is really cool. It's like a bidding system. You're kind of live bidding with all the different teams. So, yeah, the scouting can be tedious, but again, if you just kind of take your time with it, that's why it's not like a huge rush thing for me. You just kind of take your time and go through it. So again, linebackers, not super concerned. I mean, you can spend all the time you want looking at this stuff, but to me, for a linebacker, like speed's great, strength's great, but to me, it's more about like intangibles and just positional smarts, things like that. So I'm surprisingly not all that concerned with, you're looking for like massive standouts or something like this, like somebody who just has like a number. Like, of course, we have these 3 weird generated guys. Which I'm kind of figuring out maybe doesn't mean a whole lot. It doesn't seem to really translate into anything super special. We do like having speedy middle linebackers, so again, maybe some of these guys who are below 4.5, but they're all outside guys. Yeah, Larson's interesting to look at. So again, not super concerned for linebackers. We do have our first free agency, let's save here again. We have our first free agency preview and our first restricted free agent decision. So that should be interesting. Yeah, oh yeah, you can definitely seem to lose hours on this for sure. And again, I'm just kind of taking my time to show you guys the game and whatnot. And like I said, these first few episodes, I mean, they take a while. They definitely take a little while. So we have to make this decision first here. Now, we know we have a lot of depth.
Are we going to tender him or let him go, Coach?
So here's how the tenders work. This is pretty cool. It says choose the tender level you want to assign this restricted free agent. If a CPU team signs him, you will get draft picks in return as compensation based on the tender level. The key part of that sentence, or those sentences, if a computer team signs him. This guy's rated a 72 overall. Now, if we tender him, I think it actually makes us, like, we would sign him for this much, right? So with him being a 72 overall, they're actually recommending a tender level 1. I just don't know if it makes us sign him for that, because I really don't want to sign him for $1 million. So I think I'm going to actually go with do not tender. I just don't need a 7th round pick that bad. I'd rather have the cap space. And I just don't think anyone's going to sign him. I think it's just that's only going to hurt us. Free agency preview. We've seen a little bit of this. But as we think about some of the positions that we're looking at, they want us to sign an 85 quarterback. There isn't even one available. So that's not going to happen. We talked about upgrading halfbacks. There's quite a few. But Marion Barber is restricted, age 24. I don't want to sign an older running back. Kevin Jones is nice, but let me show you the problem with Kevin Jones. Problem with Kevin Jones is this. His left leg, 45%. So we're not signing him because we'll just be paying him the price of the bench. He's too old. He's too old. He's too old. Julius Jones, maybe, right? But again, I would still rather just get one of those young guys and just plug them in and see how they do. I mean, there's a reason why these guys haven't been signed. So I'm not really seeing a ton for running backs. Fullbacks, I don't care. Receiver, we have to get an 85 or above. Stallworth's nice, but he's probably going to command a big contract. I think Isaac Bruce could be a really good fit for us because he would satisfy the GM grade, just so we don't have to bank on getting Donnie Avery. We could sign Isaac Bruce, probably to a short deal, give those younger players a chance to prove themselves, see how they do, and then we can kind of reassess wide receiver next year. So I do think Isaac Bruce would be a good fit for the Raiders. We don't need tight end. Left tackle, sure. Wouldn't mind upgrading. If we have some cap space, we could definitely, again, flows out Adams, maybe a similar situation to Isaac Bruce. Maybe bring him in on a short deal, see how that developmental project at left tackle does for us. I think that'd be good. We do need some interior offensive linemen, although we have an 82 left guard right now, so this is probably the least problematic area. But there are some good players here we'd probably want to keep our eye on. I think center is a place we should look to upgrade. It could definitely be useful there. Right guard, we have to. Our GM wants us to, and we haven't seen really much in the draft that I don't want to take that high. So this Ben Knoll guy, whoever he is probably going to be a top target of ours. He's only 23. That will satisfy the GM goal, and it'll save us a draft pick. And he's only 23, so definitely going to be looking at him. We're pretty good at right tackle, so I'm not too concerned there. Again, maybe we look at a high-end guy like Antoine Odom, maybe. But I wouldn't even look down here because, as I mentioned towards the beginning of the stream, I think with free agency before the draft, you're only looking at really top-tier talent. These guys are kind of like borderline starters, especially with the age of someone like Javon Curse. Justin Smith, same thing. Maybe we take a look at him. That would probably be it. Defensive tackle, we already have 3 guys who are rated right around this, so no thanks. We talked earlier, I think in last night's episode, actually, episode 2, about I'm not really concerned with linebacker because of what we have. It'd be great to get Michael Boley, but I think that money could be spent better elsewhere. There's really nothing at middle linebacker that looks all that enticing. Lance Briggs looks nice, but again, probably not a huge pressing need. Asamoah, we will definitely be trying to re-sign. We could also get in the mix on Asante Samuel instead. And if they're the same age, same rating, we could take a look at those 2 guys when it comes up. And we can safeties I think we're doing okay with, honestly. Especially at free safety. Strong safety, maybe, but again, these guys aren't huge upgrades, especially at age 32 for Donovan Darius. And we don't need a kicker or a punter. So best free agencies, the guy we didn't re-sign is really one of the best guys. But the Patriots did not re-sign Asante Samuel, so we're not that crazy. Alan Faneca is really the best free agent left guard. So we'll have to see, what happens with the old free agency at this point. But so with the, again, looking at linebackers will be coming up next. That's where we're going to be able to pick who we're doing. But I'm going to actually pause it there for this episode. We'll resume it. I'm trying to keep these, again, not crazy long and trying to keep them kind of chaptered out a little bit. It's slow moving. But again, there's a lot to talk about in this game. And you can, of course, rip through this stuff. But I think the whole point of this stream, again, was to go slower. Talk through some of the different strategies and so on. How you could spend, as some of you guys said in the chat, you could spend just hours and hours digging through all of this stuff. And I think that's what makes this game really, really cool. I also think it's what probably made this game not sustainable for EA Sports, because most people, you think about like the MUT community, I mean, they don't want to deal with this sort of stuff. But some people, myself included, I really like the strategy behind it. To me, it's always like just an enormously massive puzzle that you're putting together. So again, I think there's some really, really cool things. I think there's some really, really cool things on there. So, yeah, so Delante's right. Like I said about you end up with him, right? So that's why I didn't want to tender that guy, even at a 7th round pick, because I don't think anyone is going to tender him back. Anyone is going to offer him, and we would have been stuck with him. And I just didn't want to have that, so I'm okay with that. Don't need the it's not worth the risk just to get a 7th round pick out of. So that's what that was talking about. Hang on 1 second here. My phone is going crazy. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so I think I'm going to stop this 3rd episode here. This is a pretty good chunk of time, a little bit over an hour or so. Again, trying to keep these manageable for people who want to keep up and watch. But thank you for the feedback. It's been a lot of fun just chatting through it. I think my next stream, I don't know if I'll come back to this later today. Maybe. I don't have like an exact set schedule, so I know that might be a little frustrating. But worst case, if you subscribe to that YouTube channel, it'll ping you, and you can always come back and watch those later on. And again, you can always leave feedback even after the streams if you want to put them in the comment section there. That'll help. So, but yeah, subscribing definitely helps. We're trying to build up that subscription base. And yeah, we're always looking for more people to get involved with simsportsgaming.com. So check us out. We're looking for more writers, things like that. People who enjoy these kind of slow, boring games like we do, who are looking to experience more of a deeper franchise, a realistic franchise experience, whether that's an old game like this or a modern tech sim like Out of the Park Baseball, or even some of the console leagues we have running like our Madden League and so on that Delonte's in. So, but yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I like taking our time, and before you know it, I mean, we're going to be through this off season. We're going to be through free agency, the draft. We'll be into the preseason, kind of looking at who are we cutting. And what's cool about this game in the preseason is just how much the player ratings fluctuate as you get looks at players in actual live game action. They fluctuate week to week, and it really makes your roster building a lot of fun. And it's, in a weird way, it's very fun not playing the games because you really have to think about things about players with the proper attitudes and personalities so that you can trust them when you're watching a game that you have no control over other than calling the plays. So really, really cool game. It's been a lot of fun to kind of play this sporadically here during the quarantine. So anyway, I will say I would like to try and schedule down a bit more of a consistent schedule with this. So if you have suggestions or requests on that schedule, let me know. Because it's something I think I would enjoy keeping up with if we get a good following continuing on with this. But my next stream, for sure at least, will be tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry, 4 p.m. What am I saying? 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, Sunday. That'll be MLB The Show Tigers as they head into May with a really important series with the Kansas City Royals. So thanks for watching, everybody. This is episode 3. Look for episode 4 soon enough. Talk to you then.